Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with more of our F1 2021 Williams Road to Glory. Yes, of course, if you missed out on the video from Zandvoort, it's definitely worth going back and checking out. For obviously those of you that did watch that video, apologies for all the issues in it. It was very frustrating, but fingers crossed, if you're hearing me and seeing me now, I have got those things fixed, ready for round 12 of the year. That's sort of why I thought, we'd jump back in, hopefully try and get a proper episode done of this series here today. But yeah, Zandvoort, though, did spice up the championship a whole lot more, though. Of course, there will be spoilers for that in just a second. But of course, as always, though, a massive thank you for the continued support on the channel. At the time of recording this, 54,000 subscribers. That's been ticked off the list. 55k is fast approaching as well. If you're not already, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed. Help us get one step closer to the next big goal of 60k. But yeah, ready, though, for the Italian Grand Prix this weekend. Every other team at the moment is upgrading their car. We still can't. Williams refused to spend any more money on upgrading our facilities. So at the moment, we're a little bit stuck. A lot of car performance, though, very even still. And our race car is incredibly fast on this game anyway. So I'm kind of hoping we can just hang on. As you can see there, Mercedes now clear ahead of Red Bull. And then Ferrari, McLaren, us, and AlphaTauri. They're pretty much all on a level playing field as well. However, talking of level playing fields, myself and Max Verstappen tied on 177 points at the top of the championship there. It is now officially a 4-car battle for this title, as Hamilton on a bit of a tear over the last couple of race weekends there. He's just 20 points out now from the top spot as well there. So Perez, Hamilton, Verstappen and myself all duking out for this championship crown. Who's going to come out on top this weekend at the Temple of Speed? There's only one way to find out. Let's get into qualifying. Formula 1 is finally back in 2022, and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, the choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like. We are then qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix, and safe to say the heavens have well and truly opened here on Saturday, but it is meant to be getting worse and worse as the session goes on. So this could be one of those qualifying sessions where just trying to get on a lap nice and early is going to be the difference between, say, front row and P15 or something like that. It might end up just being a bit of a one-shot session. I put enough fuel in the car to go for 2 runs, but we'll have to wait and see what happens here. So I'm just actually going to go on an out lap and just try and feel the conditions. It's about to start our first lap then here from qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix. I know I keep saying it on this game at the moment, but for the first time ever in 2 championship battles at the same time. And this one, yeah, getting very spicy here. Every point counts in the final 5 races of the Williams Road to Glory here as we make the long run back down towards turn 1. 210 miles an hour in the rain. You've got to be very brave to do this. And then slam on the anchors at 150 there and hope the car sticks a little bit deep in towards that first corner, but we get it slowed down. And then it's just a case of trying to put the throttle down on the exit there. Still trying to break traction in 5th gear. That's how much torque these cars have got now. Nice and tidy through the second chicane there. Want to try and avoid the big sausage curbs on entry and on exit there. As you're just trying to get straight line exits to try and put the power down as best as possible there. Don't really want to clip the grass on the way into Ascari. But then as we head out of the second... Ooh, somehow getting away without damage there, I think. We might have just picked up a tiny bit of front wing damage as we graze up against the Armco. But that might be this first lap a little bit ruined here, and that might really hamper us. Yeah, front wing feels fine, so somehow we did get away with it. That doesn't happen often with the sim damage. But anyway, down in towards the final corner then we go of this first run. What is the time going to be there? Pierre Gasly sets the benchmark at 27.2. He's rapid though. Over 1 lap pace at the moment as we round out of the final corner, but not going to be anywhere near that as we head back up towards the start-finish line there. It's only going to be a 29.2. So, oh sorry, it was a 27.6 by Pierre in the end there, so only 1.5 seconds away. We've got a lot of time to find. Much better run through the first chicane this time around there immediately. Well over half a second found, and that's what I'm talking about. It's just those little differences, as now we know a bit more.
There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
About what the car's going to do underneath me. They're at 8 tenths clear already by the time we get to the second chicane, and there's definitely a lot more time to find as the lap unfolds. That, though, is not going to help us there. Maybe a little bit overconfident as Verstappen now goes fastest on a 27.4. We're just trying to take the dry line a bit too much. They're really wide out through the first Lesmo. Get a lock up on the exit, and this time around, this way we should find a lot of pace, though, as well, of course, after making the mistake last time round. And immediately we're going to find that 7 tenths we just lost, so we could have been right up towards the front cars here. We've still got the rest of the lap to try and find the time. So we just tiptoe our way through the Ascara chicane. I actually find that more difficult in the dry than in the wet, apparently. But so far, I haven't had too many big issues through there. About a second up, though, as we head down in towards the final corner. Are we going to keep it tidy? So we just try and glide the car in to the apex here. These are horrible conditions at the moment. Try and put the power down out of the final corner. It is going to be about a 1 second improvement. Where's that going to leave us? Puts us 6th for now. Not brilliant, but not terrible. Better than the first lap, definitely. Well, about halfway through Q2 here, and you can just see no one else really thinks it's worth being on a run at the moment because the track is just getting slightly worse. I'm kind of hoping maybe a little bit more water can actually help the intermediates find the grip that they need. But I'm not convinced at the moment, but we've really got nothing to lose by going out for a second run here. We've just got to try and actually get the lap hooked up. That's going to be the key. So we head back down towards turn 1. Nice and tidy on the brakes. They're just trying to glide the car into those apexes, like I said. And then try to put the throttle down on the exit with as little wheel spin as possible. The grip hasn't gone badly, so if we can just nail the second chicane there still should be a lot more time to find. That's going to be the difference here, just trying to get one clean lap in. So we're going to brake just under the gantry. Oh, still not great through that second chicane. And yeah, we just cannot find the time at the moment. That's getting really difficult here. Oh, 2 tenths up as we head down in towards the final corner of the lap here. So we have found a little bit more. We are definitely going to have to go for a second run once again there as well. Braking just that little bit early into the final corner there. Fingers crossed it'll carry me on the exit as we head up towards the start-finish line. Here we are going to improve once again, but not by much. Puts us P7 though, as we went purple through Sector 3. So maybe the grip is still there. This is a really weird qualifying session. Coming towards the end then of our second run though, we just cannot seem to find the time there. I even nailed the second chicane this time round. We might just go out for one last ditch attempt at the end of qualifying, but I think the track is just getting too bad at the moment. We're not losing huge swaths of time, but it's definitely getting worse. Right, we're still sat in P7 then, so clearly no one else really improving either at the moment. But one last ditch attempt then here in qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix. We may as well just put it all on the line, because even if we can just find another couple of tenths, that could be a big, big difference. Ready for the start of the Grand Prix here. The rain is definitely getting worse, but it's not massively changing at the moment as we get ready to head back down towards turn 1. I've got Sir Lancelot just in front of me there, who I think has just finished his final run as we try and put the power down out of the first chicane. And look at that, immediately into the green there as we get very, very close to Lance on the exit of the first chicane as we head through Curva Grande. We need to nail this chicane. Just brake early, Matt. Purple through the first sector though. So that might have been a little bit too early through chicane there, but again, we'll find the time on the exit as we just try and squeeze the throttle. And look at that, the time is happening. What's going on at the moment then? In Monza, so far, really, really good first half of the lap. Perhaps the track conditions are still getting there. Perhaps these intermediates are just getting into the groove now. As you can see, 7 tenths up as we head down the back straight. We absolutely need to get a good run through Ascari here because this is on it. A little bit of a lock-up on the way in, but it allowed us to rotate the car through the corner. It's a short shift on the way out there. Use the exit curve. We're losing a little bit of time now. The second half, that last lap, was really, really well done. We need a good run through Parabolica, and this could put us right towards the front of the Italian Grand Prix here. Clip that apex as best as possible. Ride the throttle on the exit of the corner. That big, big kick of oversteer as we head up towards the line. Though, where is it going to be? P2 on the grid. I'll have that. Happy, 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 happy. Well, there we go then. Qualifying done and dusted. And I reckon, had we not had that little bit of oversteer, that could have been pole position for the Italian Grand Prix. But Verstappen starts from pole then ahead of myself and Lewis Hamilton. Sergio Perez down in P5 there as the fourth prong to this championship battle. But yeah, Gasly up on the second row as well there. A fantastic job done by him. However, as always, this car should be a little bit stronger in race trim, so we'll have to wait and see what we can do here. As George Russell, 12th place there. What has happened to our teammate in recent weeks? But yeah, let's dive in then here for the Italian Grand Prix. This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto.
It's time for the Italian Grand Prix once again, here at the beloved and iconic Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. With the lowest downforce and drag of any circuit in the season, expect to see drivers making the most of the slipstream effect here today. With top speeds reaching 215 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest circuit in F1. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6-mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some closer action. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are 3 main things to worry about there, Crofty: positioning, awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position. And Mr. Monaco completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Perez, Charles Leclerc and Norris, Sainz, Bottas, Ricciardo and Kimi Raikkonen, Russell, Tsunoda, Lance Stroll and Gasly, Ocon, Joe, Antonio Giovinazzi and Mick Schumacher, Latifi and Nikita Mazepin. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
Right, well here we are then on the grid, ready for the Italian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen just in front of us. We got Hamilton and Perez now just behind us by virtue of a Pierre Gasly penalty. So the top 4 on the grid, the top 4 in this championship. But of course, going to underfuel the car a little bit here, ready in Monza. And of course as well, qualified on intermediate, so we get a fresh set of rubber ready for the start of the Grand Prix. But we need a good start in the run down towards turn 1. Like I said, this car often slightly better in its race pace and its qualifying trim. However, of course, we have got to remember qualifying was intermediate conditions, and we did do a lot of laps, so fingers crossed we have got the pace when it comes to race day here. Ready on the grid then, waiting on those 5 red lights at the temple of speed, and it is going to be a very long hold, but lights out, and away we go. And trying to avoid a bad start there, and it's not my worst one on F1 2021, as we're going to go side by side with Perez down towards the first corner. Verstappen there, desperate to try and cover us off through the first chicane. There is all contact with Sergio Perez there off the start. Hamilton seems to have gone down the order as well, as I think Perez and I just kind of met in the middle. Look at that, Lando Norris straight up into P3 as well, though, so he's had a blinder of a start here at the Italian Grand Prix, but Verstappen still out in front there. Of course, us two tied in the lead of the championship heading in to the Italian GP, and I'm sure early on Verstappen probably just wants to check out here in Monza, because of course that Red Bull, never known for having brilliant top-end speed on F1 at 2021, of course real life 22, very different story. But yeah, we've just got to try and get our head down and focus early on in this race there, because, yeah, the likes of Lando Norris, he'll take anything he can at this stage of the championship. We mentioned it last time out there with Pierre Gasly, but of course us top 4 all duking it out for the championship crown there. We can't afford any points to be lost at this stage of the year there, and, you know, a Lando Norris, someone like that, I think, well, if I can get a P2 rather than a P3, of course I'm going to try and risk it. I haven't got much else to gain this year. I mean, Ferrari and McLaren still locked into a battle for P4 in the Constructors' Championship there, as Verstappen leads the way at the end of lap 1. We're just 1.7 seconds back, though, and we've broken out the DRS of Lando Norris behind us there, as I think Sergio Perez into the box at the end of lap 1, so he definitely picked up a little bit of front wing damage there. I kind of felt like he tried to keep his nose in, even though we'd slammed the door shut, just like Anthony Davidson said in the pre-race stuff. Just because a gap is there doesn't mean you should go for it, and I don't want to know how many times we've come together with Checo at turn 1 at Monza, because it's happened at least 3 times now. Verstappen 21.5. Oh, 20.5.
Use it when within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
We are using a lot of battery early on, though, to try and get back into that DRS zone of Max Verstappen. But I think we've just got to try and utilise the best that these fresh tyres have got to offer. As look at that, through the first chicane there. Another 10th taken out of him. We have got to take all the risks. I know I just said a minute ago that, I mean, the top 4 in this championship can't take risks, as that's immediately going to be an issue.
To the DRS, you won't be able to open the rear wing. We're working on a fix. Stay out.
That is rather frustrating this early on to the Grand Prix, and how many reliability issues am I going to get in the late game of F1 2021? Oh no, Sergio Perez, yellow flags out. Don't say he's going to have a second mechanical failure in a row here, and Sergio Perez's championship challenge seems to have just been going up in smoke, literally and metaphorically here. I think Checo's out of the Italian Grand Prix here on just lap 3.
Okay, some information on Perez. They've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring.
Heartbreak for Checo. He's run such a solid, just quietly consistent campaign. But it all is over here at Monza for the 2nd race in a row. It just looks at the moment there. Red Bull, 3 mechanical failures in the last 3 Grand Prix. And Hamilton, though, getting a bit stuck behind Valtteri Bottas at the moment. I mean, they're 5 seconds adrift now from Lando Norris. What is going on down at Mercedes? They just need to get Bottas out of the way. Oh, there we go. Lap 7. DRS finally re-enabled then here in Monza, as we're going to try and close down the gap to Verstappen. Oh, thought about it down towards someone there, and all Verstappen just locking up, feeling the pressure, is the Dutchman early on in this Italian Grand Prix. We've definitely got a lot more top-end speed. You can just see through the corners, he does gain quite a lot on the exits there, as Hamilton's still trying to make a move work on Bottas, and every time they go side by side through that first chicane, Hamilton doesn't make the move work, and they just throw away about another half a second to all of the cars in front of them. What are Mercedes doing, allowing Valtteri to stay in the way? There's got to be James Vowles on the radio. We're actually going to get a nice run out of Parabolica this time round on Max Verstappen as we head down in towards the final corner. Are we going to be able to make the move work around the outside? Just, oh no, a lot of understeer there through the midway stage of the corner. But should stay close enough to try and get a run back down towards 1 here.
Gaining on the car ahead.
Yes, we certainly are, as side by side with Verstappen on the run back down towards turn 1 here. Are we going to be clean ahead of him by the time we get to the braking zone? Yes, we do. Just about get the car slowed down into that first corner here. And on lap 8 of the Italian Grand Prix here, this is the first time we've led a race since Silverstone. Haven't had a particularly brilliant run over the last couple of weekends, but we've been consistent where others have faltered. As Hamilton and Bottas, again, just going to do the same thing at turn 1. They really don't give Hamilton's AI enough credit on this game, because he would have definitely murked Bottas off by now. Yes, pun intended. Oh, Verstappen got a good run out of the final corner here. The Dutchman's going to be all over the back of me as we head back down towards turn 1 there. And look at the straight line speed that Red Bull's got when he gets the DRS there. He's going to cover the inside, though, as we head back down towards turn 1 there. And you can just see Verstappen doing exactly as he would in real life there, just trying to crowd you out down towards the corner there. Only just giving us enough room on the outside there. It wasn't quite Bottas versus him a couple of years ago. But yeah, Verstappen, he's willing to throw it all on the line here. We better not do what him and Hamilton did in real life. It's all over the back of Max Verstappen once again there as we head back down towards turn 1. Side by side with the Dutchman. And Jeff there getting very, very confident with saying nice move there as we run a little bit deep through the first chicane. Big kick of oversteer on the exit that time around, and Verstappen's going to say thank you very much and immediately slot back up into the race lead there. But we're not done with this one just yet, as we're going to swap over the old up and under on Max Verstappen here, and just a bit later on the brakes down in towards the second chicane. They're giving him the room on the apex, but park it on the exit, and there we go, Jeff. It was a nice move in the end, but not where you thought it would be. Here we go again then, lap 11, Verstappen steamrolling back down the inside, but then just gets way earlier on the brakes than I was expecting. Perhaps that was I was way late on the brakes, to be honest there, as the Dutchman's still trying to hang it around the outside of the exit of the corner. Here we are again, going to be drag racing as we head through Curva Grande here. This time around, Verstappen's going to try and cover us off as look at that. Verstappen just maybe pushing the limits a bit too much there and gets very early on the brakes. Down at the second chicane there, Verstappen is being feisty about this, and I feel like that might just be getting close to crossing the line there. He's certainly getting his toes right up to that line. Oh, a big snap of oversteer out of the final corner there and sat in the dirty air as Verstappen immediately peels into the pit lane. So I'm not too sure if we're going to box the end of this one or try and go at least one lap longer, but don't think we're going to have to worry about George, to be honest, because he seems to be stuck in a midfield gaggle. But yeah, always want to try and go a little bit longer than the AI there. So let's just push on this final lap on this set of tyres there, as I think Verstappen is going to come out in clear air. So Verstappen has timed that pit stop very nicely indeed there. Just about got the gap, I think, over the Aston Martin. Saying that, looking at it, it's going to be close on pit exit. And yeah, Verstappen has done so. So yeah, I think we need to box this lap.
Stopping this lap.
And fingers crossed, see how much time we either gain or lose. We're just going to make sure we use all of the battery we possibly can on this lap there. You know, these are critical laps in the Grand Prix as we head down through the final corner there. Bit of a lock-up as we head into Parabolica. Try not to get the oversteer we got last time round, but down into the pit lane we come then here in the Italian Grand Prix. Just going to take it nice and easy into the pit lane there as Lando Norris takes the lead of the Italian Grand Prix there, as Hamilton and Bottas, they're still battling further down the order there. As please don't say the team are going to change the wing. Please say the team aren't going to change the wing. I don't know when I set it to no, but thank you very much. 2.5 second stop isn't brilliant, but isn't too bad either here, as we are going to be close to Verstappen on pit exit. And have we actually got an overcut on him?
Strategy complete. See these tires through.
It's going to be very close when we get back down towards someone there, but I think we've done an overcut on the Dutchman. Is he going to try and keep it around the outside? We're not quite going to see shades of Hamilton Verstappen from last year's Grand Prix there, but yeah, somehow we've now got fresher rubber there. He's on hards. Why is Verstappen on hard tyres in this Grand Prix? We need to absolutely go for it now. Use the fresh rubber, use the grip advantage, try and push him outside the detection zone, and then surely then Verstappen won't be able to do a lot later on in the day, because these tyres will absolutely make it to the end. We need to push like crazy. Look at that, just trying to use as much battery as possible though, as we come to the end of lap 13 there, and immediately we've got Verstappen out of that detection, so that is critical then for the second half of this Grand Prix. There is top four all going to peel into the pit lane here, and we are going to re-inherit the lead then of the Italian Grand Prix. But Verstappen now, no DRS to try and keep himself close. We've surely now just got to look after the tyres, but I mean, this is Monza. The tyres don't get particularly worn out though. We've also got to make sure we don't do things like that. But this suddenly has fallen into our lap here. I mean, in the moment, we're just pushing to make sure we're using all our battery every single lap here, but the gap to Max Verstappen is going up, and even more impressively, Lando Norris is taking a little bit of time out of the Dutchman, so I mean, that could be really handy in this Grand Prix. It's going to get close by the end of the GP between those two, as the gap floating between about 2.6 and 2.8. Lando's taking a good sort of 2-3 tenths though out of him every lap, so maybe with some DRS late on in the day, we could see a change for position. Oh, we got yellow flags out as we head through Ascari. Someone's got issues further up the road. Is it an Aston Martin or is it one of the Alpines? Can't quite work it out there, as I'm really not sure what's happened to George Russell this weekend. He's sat behind that gaggle of cars. I think it is an Alpine though and going slowly. I want to say it's Yuki Tsunoda who might have been dropped to the wayside here in Monza. And yeah, the second retirement of the day there. Tsunoda out of the Italian Grand Prix, but luckily for me, no safety car. Gap between Max and Lando, 2.4 now. So it is coming down, not by a huge amount, but gradually each lap. 10 laps to go here from Monza, and we are looking in control. I'm waiting now, of course, for Jeff to say there's an issue on the engine.
some information on Verstappen. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
Well, I did panic then for a second when Jeff immediately came on the radio. But Verstappen then, apparently with issues late on in this Italian Grand Prix there. So maybe he's been told just to look after the car after another failure for Checo. And this might be a golden opportunity for Lando Norris. And Hamilton's got the jump on Bottas at last. So could this get really interesting in terms of bigger picture then here from Monza? Verstappen now with issues, and that gap immediately to Lando Norris is down to just over a second. Lap 19 though, here comes Lando Norris on Max Verstappen down around the outside into Ascari, and I think he has just pulled off a pretty textbook move there. I don't think Verstappen's really going to be able to hang on alongside him, and there we go, Lando Norris up into P2 of the Grand Prix. I'm just trying to do the maths. I'm not sure Hamilton will have enough time to close up to him by the end unless Mercedes go. Bottas, you do not battle your teammate, and let's be fair, if they were going to make that call, they would have probably done it about 18 laps ago, and clearly they aren't. But Verstappen down to P3 then. This is all slotting into place for us. 5 laps to go then here from Monza, and to be honest, at the moment we're just cruising towards the finish line, but I'm still just watching that gap between Verstappen and the Mercs there. It is down to 4 seconds, so unless Verstappen can get those issues sorted, it is still going to be very, very tight by the end of the race there, but Mercedes just desperately need to let one car go for it. Lando Norris, yeah, I think he's just cruising as well towards the finish line here. Neither of us have really got much more that we can do in this Grand Prix. It would be a brilliant result for the pair of us, but yeah, Mercedes still, pretty much every lap this Grand Prix have gone side by side down into that first chicane there. And I mean, they'd probably already be right on Verstappen's gearbox had they not continued to do this, but I guess they're making things spicy towards the end, as this time around Bottas completes the move. Well, 3 laps to go then of the Grand Prix, and I reckon Verstappen has just about done enough here. I reckon Red Bull have told him just to push a little bit late on in the Grand Prix to make sure he can cover off that gap, but Mercedes, there is surely a civil war going on down at that team, because I mean, that is just all day long. They've probably at least thrown themselves away a podium, but to be honest, they should have been ahead of Lando Norris for this Grand Prix as well there, so it should have easily been at the very least P2 and P3 there. I'd argue they probably had the fastest car this weekend when it came to race pace, but so many battles, so much time lost. And I mean, for us, I'm not going to complain too much, but it would have been nice if Verstappen had lost a few more points, because I'm still very, very worried about him come the end of the year. Well, about to start the final lap here from Monza as Nicholas Latifi just going to jump out of the way of me down in towards the final corner of lap 26. And what a race this has been for us today. Everything we could have ever asked for in terms of the personal race. There is please Nikita Mazepin. I'm always a bit scared about what you're going to do. So we head back down towards someone. Why aren't you lifting? Back out of it, man. Please, I beg. I hate that man with every fibre of my being. But yeah, final lap though from the Italian Grand Prix. I did wonder after Silverstone, especially with a lot of other teams applying more upgrades, whether that might be the last time we stand on the top step of this podium. But I always thought Monza, you know, that's always a good shot, especially in a car like this, to try and really score big, big points there. But who's going to come through for P4? Will it be Hamilton? Will it be Valtteri Bottas on the final lap of this Grand Prix there? Mercedes have had an absolute mare today. I would have thought Toto Wolff has probably pulled out all his hair watching them. Like I said, I think they've genuinely got into that first chicane side by side at least 20 times in a 27-lap Grand Prix here. But it looks like Bottas might just have done enough this weekend there. Perez with another mechanical failure. His season just seems to be falling away from him right at the inopportune time, and nothing he can do about that at the moment. But I don't think he would have been a big threat this weekend anyway, especially after the incident on lap 1 there, and Verstappen as well. So Honda maybe still with some reliability issues to get ironed out late on in the campaign. But round in the final corner, for the first time this year, we're going to lead the championship. It's victory at the Temple of Speed.
I need a moment. Great drive. We did it. Good job.
There it is then, victory in the Italian Grand Prix, an historic race and an achievement they can be immensely proud of. Talk to me, Ants, what was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection, a shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
It looks like it's time once again to hand out the silverware as these successful drivers make their way to the podium. It was a gritty performance today by Williams, and they've got the race win to prove it. Mr. Monaco takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
I'll probably go for Pierre Gasly. The team did a good job with the strategy to put him in amongst the pack, but it's the driver's job to capitalise on those opportunities, and he did so with a lot of skill.
It's time to check out the Constructors' standings. It was a tough race for our championship leaders who lose ground at the top of the table. There was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today as they make their way up the standings. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Well, there we are then, guys, the end of the Italian Grand Prix there, and it wasn't quite pole position, fastest lap and race victory, but we did get the full 26 points. They're incredibly happy with that race result. Lando Norris, a very, very good P2 for McLaren, took every chance he could, and yeah, really made up progress early on there and got the result for it. Verstappen P3 after a few issues, but yeah, he definitely got those fixed by the end of the race there, ahead of Bottas and Lewis Hamilton. What can we say about Mercedes? Daniel Ricciardo, Carlos Sainz, Kimi Raikkonen, Pierre Gasly, and Lance Stroll running out the top 10 there, and George Russell P13. I'd rather, I think, yeah, for his sake, we didn't talk about that one. Tsunoda and Perez both not making it through to the checkered flag, and that does mean championship-wise, Williams, for the first time since, what, about 2003, I want to say, lead the Drivers' World Championship here. 11 points the gap to Max Verstappen after that race weekend there. Hamilton just jumped Sergio Perez, though, into P3. And, I mean, if they get a good result there, say, for example, Verstappen and I come together in the final few races of the campaign there, that could still be all to play for there. Lando Norris immediately jumps up to best, well, debatably best of the rest at the moment. Bottas is kind of in a weird no man's land there, but he does jump Gasly, Russell, and Charles Leclerc there. No other movers, though, I don't think. Oh, there we go. Stroll jumps Tsunoda by virtue of that point this weekend as well there. Constructors-wise, though, we gain a little bit over Mercedes there. The gap back up to 10 points there as Ferrari get re-jumped by McLaren there. The gap between those two teams up to 10 points as well. And unfortunately for Haas, Aston Martin, with that bonus point from Stroll, mean that they get relegated down to the 9th place in the Constructors' Championship there. Will Alpine score a point before the end of the year there and push Haas back down to last there? It's the most points I've seen Haas score on F1 at 2021. Of course, that crazy Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix a few weekends ago, but yeah, not looking good for Haas at the moment there. Thank you all so much for watching this video, though, nonetheless. If you are new around here, like I said, make sure you get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back tomorrow with more F1 2021 content. You guys do not want to miss it. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.